How's it going, everyone? Got some exciting news to go over in this video. We've got some updates on JRPGs, particularly Fate Extra is a game that I think is going to be one of the more underrated JRPGs you should have on your radar. It's a remake of a game that wasn't received incredibly well by critics, but the actual fan base seemed to really enjoy it. So we'll talk about that. Zenless Zone Zero, a popular free-to-play title, gets a major update in version 1.1 on August the 14th, and an exciting franchise is making a comeback. We'll talk that briefly at the end of this video. But right off the top, Fate Extra Record will launch for PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and PC in 2025. Publisher Bandai Namco and developers Type Moon and Type Moon Studio BB have announced. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be the biggest Fate fan in the world, although I did see that Fate Stay Night is getting a remaster for its visual novel release as well on PC, so that's kind of exciting. But as I've mentioned in previous videos, I did play Fate Samurai Remnant last year, and I legitimately think that is one of the most underrated games in recent memory. I love that game. The soundtrack, the story, the Musou-style gameplay that I felt was pretty good, and then the tactics board game element I wasn't crazy about, but I really enjoyed Fate Samurai Remnant, and it makes me want to try out even more Fate content. Maybe at some point I'll actually give the anime a full watch. I watched Stay Night, the anime, way back in the day, but I've heard that anime adaptation isn't fantastic. Fate Extra Record, again, will be launching in 2025. The Moon Holy Grail War begins now. The setting is a virtual world called Seraph. Built on the moon, masters and servants team up to fight for survival in pursuit of the Holy Grail, an omnipotent wish-granting device in the Moon Holy Grail War, which begins once again. This is a remake of Fate Extra, the first Fate series RPG released in July 22nd of 2010, now revamped for modern hardware with an expanded scenario, refreshed character graphics, and dramatic command battles utilizing a highly strategic deck-building system. 128 of the world's top hackers, each capable of transforming their souls into spiritrons, are selected as masters to participate in the Holy Grail War. The servants they form contracts with are the souls of legendary heroes and eminent figures from history whose true names are concealed. These servants are materialized as life forms and are assigned to one of 7 classes, such as Saber or Archer. Through their shared struggle where they entrust their souls to one another, their past and hidden desires intersect. Excited to see how this one turns out, and also as a longtime JRPG fan, nice to see that 2025 lineup start to take shape as far as JRPGs to look forward to. I don't know if 2025 is going to have that big top-level JRPG release that 24 had with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, that 2023 had with Final Fantasy 16. Because I don't think Square Enix is going to be dropping a Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't think Persona 6 is going to come out. I don't think any of that is going to come out. But we know titles like Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak 2. We know titles like Fate Extra Record, and those are titles to certainly still be excited about in 2025. While we don't have, again, that top-level game, maybe you'll have somebody like a Bandai Namco come in with the Scarlet Nexus team putting out a game, or a Tales of release, or something like that. But again, I don't know if I would consider that a top-level release that is going to penetrate outside of that hardcore JRPG niche bubble. But hey, that bubble is feasting as far as high-quality games recently, so all good there. Moving on from that, version 1.1 update for Zenless Zone Zero, dubbed Undercover R&B, will launch on August the 14th, developer Hoyoverse has announced. Version 1.1 will feature the new challenges soon to be faced by new Eridu public security, and the complex story between Jane, Seth, and the criminal syndicate known as the Mountain Lion Gang. Aside from updates to the story and new characters, version 1.1 will also introduce the new Hollow Zero gameplay experience in Inferno Reap, where players can jump into battle directly. Also, the new Eridu public security area at Lumina Square will now be open to all players. Furthermore, with various events such as the Camellia Golden Week, abundant rewards are awaiting inquisitive proxies. Beyond the 2 S-rank characters, the A-rank electric defense character Seth is also ready to join the combat. Aside from buffing his teammates with a shield, Seth's weapon can also transform into a large sword, where he uses to defeat enemies. And in addition, a new S-rank will be able to assist proxies in the halls. In addition to regular updates to Shiyu Defense, Zenless Zone Zero is introducing new gameplay in Inferno Reap to Hollow Zero after completing the Withering Garden stage and related commissions. Proxies can enter a time-limited battle. The challenge can be attempted as many times as possible. Successful challenges grant a wide range of in-game rewards. In version 1.1 themed event in the Golden Week, proxies can obtain A-level weapon engine and various materials by completing event commissions. Additionally, a variety of new in-game events and features such as immersive tactical drill, first-class customer service, and upgraded camera function with filters and selfie options will be offering players a fun new way to enjoy the game. Zenless Zone Zero is available now for PlayStation 5 via the PlayStation Store, available absolutely free. The Hoyoverse titles certainly are not going to be for everyone, but Zone Zero has gotten a really strong reception for the people that played it. It seems like, you know, aesthetically, it follows a very similar pattern to the Hoyoverse titles, but from a gameplay standpoint, it seems like a lot of people are gravitating to it in that regard. Lastly, a game that, if it delivers, I think a lot of people will be gravitating toward. Publisher THQ Nordic and developer Gunfire Games are working on a brand new Darksiders game. They know Be Prepared to Ride Again. Will we reveal anything else at this point in history? No. Further details were not announced. Now, this is pretty interesting because Gunfire Games' track record as far as what they've done from a gaming standpoint has been rather good. They did do Darksiders 3, which I know didn't have a crazy great reception, but recently they did do Remnant 2, and that game's been incredibly well received. They did Remnant from the Ashes, Darksiders 2, the remastered edition, and now they're working on an untitled Darksiders project, and this does seem like it's going to be a new mainline Darksiders game. It's not going to be something like Darksiders Genesis, which I believe was done by Airship Syndicate. That game was quite good, but I think a lot of people would be excited for a new Darksiders project. Now, the question remains on what level is this going to be at? I remember when Darksiders 1 came out, and I had talked about this in a previous video, whenever I talked about Darksiders 1, but I remember the rhetoric when that game was coming out, and some of the talking points around that game as people were comparing it to God of War and Legend of Zelda and saying it's a mix between those games. I thought that was just setting people up for disappointment with Darksiders. Look, Legend of Zelda and God of War are iconic IPs, even if God of War at that point in time wasn't really my cup of tea. I much prefer the newer style of God of War games. God of War was incredibly well received, in my opinion, on not enjoying God of War 1 and 3 as much as everybody else. Don't get me wrong, I still really enjoy them as action games. I just don't think they're the greatest things since sliced bread. But those comparisons being thrown out of Darksiders being Zelda crossed with God of War, that was just gonna set people up for disappointment because those games are absolutely top level. You're talking 9 out of 10s, 95s on Metacritic, that range. Darksiders is a comfortable 7 or an 8 at the highest, and I think most people would agree with that. I really enjoyed Darksiders 1. If you go back and play it now, it might seem a little bit archaic, but I would still say give it a shout. And Darksiders 3 wasn't fantastic, but Darksiders 2 was pretty good, and if they can bounce back and deliver something of quality, and it's got a big budget attached to it, that could be pretty exciting. Darksiders is also one of those IPs, though, I don't know, especially with game development, I don't know the exact cost attached to everything, but keep your expectations in line. While if the game is good, it'll do okay. It's not like it's this game that's going to sell millions upon millions of copies, and I just don't want to see more Immortals of Aveum's, Forspoken, and Callisto Protocol situations because you're bringing an IP back that was dormant, or Dead Space Remake, I feel like is a very good example. Dead Space is now going dormant again. Darksiders, I think people will be excited for it, but expectations need to be tempered and aligned, and if that means creating a game that isn't a gargantuan budget attached to it, that's fine. I think people will still enjoy the game if it's a well-done action game, but that's my 2 cents on that. We have so little information on it, so at this point, that's all we can really talk about. But that'll do it for me. Again, Fate Extra Record will be dropping in 2025. The JRPG lineup for 2025 starting to take shape with Trails Through Daybreak 2 as well, so that's pretty exciting. Zenless Zone Zero getting a major update and update 1.1 on August the 14th, and a brand new Darksiders game is in development, although we don't know much about it. At this point, we can speculate as far as what it's going to be. I imagine it won't be out for a couple of years, maybe 2026 at the earliest, so keep that in mind as well. But that'll do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.